Hello and welcome to Vision Meets Storage. We'll be talking about how to integrate Backblaze B2 with 12 Labs today. So before we start, a little bit of housekeeping. The webinar is being recorded. So if you need to pop out or drop early, we'll send you a link to that recording. Please do ask questions throughout the webinar. We'll queue them up and get to them at the end. And don't forget the attachments. There's kind of a paperclip icon on the right with links and other resources from the webinar. So with that, I am Pat Patterson. I'm Chief Technical Evangelist here at Backblaze. I've been here for just over 2 years now, focusing on Backblaze B2. And I'm joined today by James Lee from 12 Labs. James, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at 12 Labs.
Hey, Pat. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, so my name is James. I running developer experience teams at 12 Labs. We can go a bit deeper into what our company does, but my main job, I think very similar to what Pat is doing at Backblaze, which is, evangelize our technology.
Very cool.
Right. Yeah. Go talk at different events like this, finding tech partners and do joint content communities together.
Great. Okay, so today we'll have a little introduction to Backblaze and 12 Labs. Most of you might have heard of Backblaze already, but I'm sure many of you have not heard of 12 Labs. And then James will describe their video understanding platform. Then I'll look at how you can integrate 12 Labs with Backblaze B2. I've written a demo application to do exactly that. And then we'll look at that demo. We'll have a quick run through some of the code, and then we'll get to your questions. So with that, Backblaze B2. Like I said, most of you on this webinar probably heard of Backblaze and Backblaze B2. So just in a few seconds, B2 is S3 compatible cloud object storage that is easy to use, reliable, and about 1/5 the cost of Amazon S3. And we even give you free egress for up to 3 times the amount of data you're storing with us. So you're not going to get hit with those unexpected download fees. And in some ways, most importantly of all, it is S3 compatible. Pretty much every off-the-shelf application and tool can use Backblaze B2 in place of Amazon S3, which is exactly how I built the demo app. So, James, tell us about 12 Labs.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction about Backblaze, Pat. So on my end, would love to go over a couple of slides, talk about our company, some of the use cases, and the technology we provided. So I think our hypothesis of the company is that videos is ultimate modalities that most closely resemble the sensory inputs from the real world. So at our company, we are building powerful foundation models, multimodal foundation models to be exact, in order to understand video and therefore understand the world.
So by multimodal, what do you mean?
Yeah, so if you think about video content, you actually have multiple modalities. You have the visual element, right? Like any objects, scenes, peoples. You also have the conversation audio elements, right? You have the sound, you have people talking, and then sometimes in video you also have like text written on screen, right? And so by multimodal, I mean we try to build a model that combine visual and audio and text all together, and then create holistic representation of the video based on those 3 separate modalities. And another thing I want to add is the temporal dimension in the video content. So in the video, things move on the axis of time. So how can we model these separate modalities across that time dimension? It's also like a big challenge is that a model can, I could say, like did a pretty good job at handling.
Cool. So tell us about, how might you use this in the real world? And I believe this Nomad integration was announced just last week at
Yep.
the NAB show, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So for this webinar talk, I want to talk about two, use cases that we were able to announce at NAB show last week in Vegas. So Nomad Media is a media asset management platform that transforms the way users manage, enrich, discover, and distribute their digital assets with Amazon Web Services. They have a flagship product called Nomad Media Platform, which I put the screen here, as you can see. And what it does is that it delivers access to the massive power and feature sets of AWS through a clean and convenient user interfaces. So the challenge that they realized that like when they manage this massive amount of video content, they face the pressure of like how to understand what is contained in these vast videos archives. And they realized that some of the AI search model that was, rely on existing, keyword or metadata search, and they also been a price per minute, right, can quickly become very, expensive, for increasing quantity of video libraries. So they were looking for a technology partner that could offer a scalable yet cost-effective solution that could be easily integrated within their platform. So if you move on to the next slide.
So I was just going to say this. So this is essentially a media asset manager. We have a Backblaze partner with a couple of different vendors. I think Iconic and Axle.ai, and this is basically doing that same thing. And what Nomad have done, instead of having to develop that video understanding model themselves, they're using your off-the-shelf capability, building that into their app.
That is correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
And this is search.
Yeah, exactly. So I can talk more about our product in detail, but here's an example of what the Cubby looks like. So we build this multimodal model that enable semantic search. So we index petabytes of video content and make it semantically searchable with every language. So as you see on the screen, you type in the word cooking, and it return all the clips in that video libraries inside Nomad Media platform that semantically correlate with cooking, right? So you see the chef is cooking, there's bakery, there's pans, etc. And you go to the next one.
It can recognize these based on, say, somebody says cooking in the video,
That is correct.
Or if nobody, like if they're just chatting about something else, just what's going on in the video, right?
Yeah, both the visual element as well as the audio conversation element.
Or even if the word comes up on screen.
Yeah, that is correct.
So that's the multimodal. Got it.
Yeah. And you can even get more granular. So here you type in cooking with vegetable, right? So it's only going to return the search output that have vegetable in it. So I see here looks like there's beans and different type of veggies, tomatoes, potato. I think it's like he's doing some sort of curry, right? So that's the ability of like AI powerful model, right? You can get very granular and only get the type of.
Yeah, and I actually did that in the demo app, and it is, I have to say, shockingly easy to get it working.
Yep.
So, and then here, what's going on here? We've kind of dived into a detail page.
For sure. So the two previous slide was search, but another type of use cases that Nomad was leveraging our technology was video to text generation. So essentially, in this scenario, they use our model to generate any open-ended text format tailored to then this example is a summary of the video. So this video, right, Mavila Me Too, and you can see the summary on the right side. Looks like the video is open with a scenic view of a city skyline at dusk, with a body of water and palm trees in the foreground, suggesting an urban area with a warm climate. So that's the power of model. Like by processing the video, it can generate a textual description of what's happening in the video.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and this is a similar example. Also, video summarization, just another video.
Yeah.
The owners of the Latin cuisine share their journey of starting a food truck business despite having no experience in restaurant or food industry.
Got it.
Yep.
And then this EMAM is it looks like a similar kind of
Mhm.
case here. I'm going to guess that the MAM in EMAM stands for Media Asset Manager.
Yeah, that is correct. So imams also do, media asset management with integrate workflow, process automation, and as I mentioned, to allow us to provide multimodal AI models. So this integration empowers, media organization to find, create, and use video content efficiently and affordably. So the user here can use the traditional imam search feature, but also like semantic search from Trial Labs to find the best video segment or the whole video as needed. So here, if you take a look at the search query on the bottom, man with glasses, wearing orange shirt.
Oh,
So
wow.
it returns all the
Yeah.
segment where that guy is speaking.
Cool.
Same idea here. The queries now become strawberries falling in water. So looks like there's only one clip, and as you can see visually, the strawberry are falling underwater.
Yeah, that's a pretty specific query.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how does this work? What have you built here at 12 Labs?
Absolutely. So this slide go a bit deeper into like our hypothesis and how our technology fit into the broader landscape of video infrastructure stack. So lighting at the horizontal layer is the video foundation model, which is what 12 Labs focusing on. So you probably familiar with like large language model or Gen AI type model for language and image, and we are doing the same thing but for video content, right? So what these video foundation models do is that they generate very powerful multimodal video and text embeddings, right? And these embeddings are basically numerical representation that store all the multimodal information from a video. These embeddings can then be wrapped as can basically enable some downstream tasks, downstream API tasks, and we have search, classify, generate, and soon Fatun API. And these APIs will then be will power some of the downstream application of video understanding. So you think about any vertical that deal with a lot of video content, they will likely need to use video understanding. So at least a couple here, ranging from advertising and e-learning to healthcare and creator economy, and then all the way up at the top is the individual users and enterprise who are gonna use this application, right, to get better insights on their day-to-day, etc. And in the age of Gen AI and IoT and on-demand real time, I think there's a big need for them to basically demand this application to be intelligent and fast and real time from the get go. So that's kind of like the stack of how it looks like.
I mean, I know that Backblaze B2 is used by companies that do surveillance cameras, and I guess if you're building a surveillance platform, you could very easily kind of get to the point where you could say, okay, well, this video camera is watching this scene. Tell me when you see a person, or tell me when this door is opened, and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yep. And this slide, I just want to go a bit deeper into kind of the platform that we offer, and how it kind of if you want to use it, what the architecture looks like. So the video understanding platform here, we offer an API suite for integrating state-of-the-art, foundation models that understand contextual information from your video. And the API is organized around the REST framework and is compatible with most programming language like Python or JavaScript. You can also use Postman or other REST clients to send requests and view responses. So you see in the diagram, it illustrates architecture of the platform and how different parts interact. So we have the index. Index is like a basic unit for organizing and storing video data. And this index facilitates information retrieval and processing. And then we have a video understanding engine. the video understanding engine here consists of a family of the model for a specific purpose that can be used to offer downstream capabilities like search, classification, and summarization. And when we say call an engine, right, you have an option to choose what type of engine option you want to choose, whether it's visual, conversation, or text and video. These are like the corresponding multimodal option. You can only you can choose all of them, or you want to only focus on the visual, but not like other modalities. You can only choose an option.
Mhm.
And then looking at the bottom half of the diagram, you can see we offer 3 separate API right now: search, classify, and generate, which I already got go over in the previous slide. But then they will be sent into a query/prompt processing engine. And this engine is basically process the user input and return the corresponding results to your application. So that can be the search query, it can be the classification query, it can be the prompt for generating text from video.
Yeah, so far in the demo, I've got obviously indexing the videos and retrieving transcripts and so on, and search. And at some point after this, I'm going to add the classification and the like generating the summary. So we'll see that. We'll see a lot of this in a couple of minutes.
Yep.
So this search API, we don't need to spend too much time here. I think you basically provide a search query and it returns you a set of results.
That is correct. Yeah, like I think I already demonstrate that in some use cases with Nomad and Imam. Yeah, but I just want to emphasize the fact that it's multimodal, right? And because of that, it can detect very flagrant details that overlooked by unimodal methods. And the fact that you can do natural language query to search, it just make a much better intuitive interaction with the end user.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I had this working really nicely in the demo. And then classification. Now here, you have to define a taxonomy, like a hierarchy of categories up front, right?
Yeah. So what this classify API does is that it allows you to customize the classification criteria without the need to have to retrain the model. And the way it works is like you will come up with like a group of classes. So example is like in this example like cook talk or animal talk as the broader class that you want to classify your video on, and under those classes you can come up with prompts. These prompts, you think of them as like building blocks for the classification system. So looks like in a cook talk you can put in like cooking tutorials, cooking utensils, cooking tips, etc. And then same thing with animal talk, right? Like dog, cat, birds, and fish. And when you run our classify API, it will process your end-to-end video and then figure out like what video belong to cook talk, what video belong to animal talk, because of the prompt that you put onto the classes.
Right. And it does this by just looking at those embeddings. It doesn't need to go back to the original videos again. You have everything you need captured in those embeddings you create during the indexing process.
That's correct. And another thing I want to highlight here is you can come up with the prompts here like on the fly. It's just basically like, hey, this is what I want to classify, right?
Right.
This is very powerful because the traditional approach to doing classification is like you have to come up with like a predefined set of like classes, right, before you even like do anything, and then you only classify your video based on those predefined set. Now you can do it like on the go, basically zero-shot learning, and that is just open up so much more flexibility.
Right. Well, yeah. Rather than having a static set of categories at the outset of your project, you can adjust them over time to suit what you're seeing in the content, I guess.
Absolutely.
Wow. So, and I get we're kind of closing the loop here. So you upload it, creates those embeddings, and then you can come back later. And I guess it's similar to Classify, right? Rather than a set of categories, you can kind of say, okay, give me a summary, or I don't know. What's an example of a prompt here that we might want to give this API?
Yeah. So this slide talking about the generate API, which is like generate text from video. And highlight the three separate sub API, sub endpoint within Generate. So each of these are designed for a very specific purpose. So the GIST API can produce very concise text output like titles, topics, and hashtag. So it's very short and very like one sentence liner. The summary API is designed to generate summaries, chapters, highlights. So a little bit more extensive. And the Generate API is actually allows you to come up with a prompt for a specific format and style, right? So you asked me about some examples of prompt. Can be like, can you generate me a bullet points of what's going on in the video? Can you come up with like a police report based on the content of this body cam footage? Can you generate like a creative lyrics based on the content of this music video, right? So those are the kind of like experimental style that you can divide from and very personalize the output of the text.
So I guess there's like an iterative process there by the user of, honing in on a prompt that gives them the output they're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're all familiar with this now. So you don't have to call the API directly, right? You've got two choices of SDKs.
Yeah. And this is actually like very exciting development from 12 Labs, and we only released the Python SDK and the JavaScript SDK like a month and a half ago. So it's quite recent. Obviously, we got a lot of requests from developers like, hey, can you make this SDK just make just a better developer experience, right? So yeah, these are available. You can pip install 12 Labs if you're using Python, and you can npm install 12 Labs if you're using JavaScript. And we have engineering team has been developing this package extensively, and the code are open source, so you can come in and take a look and try it out, fork it, play with your own project, and would welcome any pull requests if you see any issue with our code base.
Yep, you can even fix bugs and submit those fixes as pull requests, as I have experienced. Okay, so let's look at what we can do with 12 Labs and Backblaze B2. So Backblaze B2, cloud object storage, it's a great place to put video files. Video files are big. Storing them is expensive with the hyperscalers like S3. We have thousands of customers storing video files on Backblaze B2. So the use case I set up here is I have a private Backblaze B2 bucket. So that's important. I don't want to be just like sharing this content on the web. They're proprietary video files. Now, I want to have 12 Labs index those files for search, create thumbnails and transcripts for each video, extract any logos and text, and then classify my files into a set of categories. Now, I want to store all of that metadata, I guess, the thumbnails, transcripts, the text that it's found in the videos, back into Backblaze B2, so I've got it alongside my original videos. So for thumbnails, it's pretty obvious. We want to render a page of thumbnails, one for each video that we're storing. Now, there's a key concept that we use with Backblaze B2 for this kind of application, and it's called a pre-signed URL. And in fact, the 12 Labs API uses this as well when it hands you back links to resources such as thumbnail images. And these are quite useful to understand what's happening here. So we have this URL, and on its own, if you try to get this, you would just get an error, 401, I think. You wouldn't be able to get it. It's a private bucket. And the magic here is that we add these parameters, and the important ones are date and the expiry time. So there's like a timestamp when you create the link, and then how long it lasts. So that's number of seconds in a day. And then this signature, and the signature binds everything together. So if you request this image with this URL, it will work for a day. And then one day after this timestamp, URL, that link is no longer valid and you can no longer get it. So this is a really convenient way of sharing data in a controlled way. I can give 12 Labs pre-signed URLs to my videos in V2. It can do its indexing process, and then I can be confident that after that expiry time, they're no longer accessible. All right. So I have a bit I recorded, and I'll explain why as I play it back. So let's see. We want to share the this one here. Okay. So this is a recording of the process of indexing the videos. So what I've got here is my bucket in Backblaze B2, and at the beginning, all I have are some videos. So if I go in there, I've got, I think it's 28 different video files, and nothing else in my Backblaze bucket. So here's my CatTube application that manages my videos. So I've got those videos there, they're visible, but I don't have any thumbnails. I've just built a list of files that are in Backblaze B2. So I'm selecting all of them and then hitting index. Now what's happening is that I'm creating a background task using a Python module called Huey, and that runs in the background. I can't run long-running tasks in a web backend, but what that's doing now is submitting each of those videos to 12 Labs. So it's creating a 12 Labs task to index each of the videos. Now, as you can see, everything accelerated there because this process actually took about 15 minutes for those 28 videos. So this is why we didn't do it live in the webinar. But as you can see, what's going on is we submitted those as tasks, and then we're polling 12 Labs to see what the status is. And then we get back things like text, there's logos there going past, there's transcripts, and you can see in the web app window that as those thumbnails arrive, that it's updating the display with each one. So by now it's just about to complete. You can see the last couple going by, some more logos there. And now I've got my 28 thumbnails. Okay, so I now have those stored in Backblaze B2. And if I go back to my bucket, I can see there's lots more data there, because what I did was, as I requested all of that data from 12 Labs, I saved it as JSON files in the case of the references to text and logos, and the actual images here for the thumbnails. So I've got a whole bunch of transcripts, and we'll actually dive into the transcript. You can see a lot of them are 2 bytes because there's nothing there. That's like empty square brackets. But I had a couple of videos with quite a lot of soundtrack. So with that, I can end the recording and I can share my actual entire screen. Let's see, is it, bear with me here. Okay, and we get the infinite regress until I move that out of the way. Okay, so here is my CatTube. Jane, can you verify that I can see this window? Because I can't see the...
Yeah, I see the CatTube window.
Awesome. So this is a web application written with the Django web app framework. So I've got my 28 videos here, and I can do searches. So I can search for cat, and I get 3 cat videos, and I can say cats playing on the floor, and you see it went from it excluded the one where the cat was playing on the couch. I was pretty stunned how well that worked. And I can search for things like leaves, whoops, and it'll give me back, a handful of videos with leaves. I guess there's maybe a mention of something that sounds like leaf in this one. But even this helicopter one, there's trees in the background swaying with leaves. So that was indexing and searching. Let's have a look at some of this data that it pulled back. And so this is the most recent thing I got working just last night. So if I search for Backblaze, firecrackers, I guess there's a blaze going on there. It's kind of interesting, the semantic search. You sometimes get some interesting hits. But I've got these 3 quick start videos, and I can click into those. So what I can see now is that 12 Labs gave me back like the time of each search hit on Backblaze and told me exactly what it's found. So like at this point here, there's some video and the logo.
Mhm.
And then here it's just, I guess, a visual. It's recognizing something. And that's not in bold, so it's not as confident about that.
Mhm.
But you can see here like the different modes that it. Oh, stop playing. You can see here the different modes that it's locating the search hit. And you can also see here how it breaks out the transcription with the time codes. So I can go straight to where I next. There you go. So this is profoundly powerful for the amount of work I had to do to get this. Most of the work I did on this was wrangling Django to make everything hold together, make it so that you can you can go to your search results and drill into the results. Let's have another thing. Oh yeah, there's a good one here. Network. Whoops.
Oops. Got it.
What's happened to my cursor? Oh, it wants to do a software update. So network. Whoops. Attached storage. So again, it pulls back the results, and one of these, it's just kind of got like the so it literally just like networked out storage. It was there in the soundtrack, and then others are. I think this one is. It just appears. Oops. There's one of them. It's just like the word NAS on the screen, but very powerful. Oh, there you go, setting up the NAS. So yeah, I mean, this is incredible. I could just have like a bucket of 1,000 videos and random quick starts and webinars, and find a particular topic. Now, looking at the code here, this was very, very straightforward. This is the 12 Labs API client. Now, I've put my key in an environment variable because I've learned not to share API keys on webinars. That's a hard-learned lesson. And I'm working with a particular index. So I've configured that as well as this index ID. So now if I start from where I am doing the video indexing, then what I'm doing here is using this API client to create a task with that index ID. This is what wraps that video URL, makes it a pre-signed URL. And I'm telling 12 Labs that they don't need to stream the videos. In fact, I don't want them to stream the videos because I've got the videos here on Backblaze B2 under my control. And then here, there's quite a bit of logic here just to do things efficiently. But ultimately, what we're doing is polling the 12 Labs API to get the status of that task until the task is ready. Now, once it's ready, we save the video ID that locates that particular video within the 12 Labs platform, and then we get all of the data. So we retrieve the thumbnail and then save that into our storage, create a path for it. And then for the transcripts, the text, and the logos, we do pretty much the same thing. We get that data and we save it into our B2 storage. And really, that's pretty much all there is to it. The only other bit that's really worth sharing is if I go to the video result page, you can see here how I'm putting those clips into the context as this template renders. What's happening here is this is HTML that's dynamically rendered by Django. So on the server side, it's looping through the list of clips and creating the text with that start and end time. And if it's a high confidence, it's going to bold the result. So really very, very little code to essentially build a simple media asset manager in a few days. It's quite incredible. So let me see if I can find my Chrome window. No, I didn't want to do that. Bear with me here. BrightTalk. There we go. That's what I should have. Okay, so end the screen share and the infinite regress and go back to the slides. So this looks really cool, James. How can you possibly improve on this?
Yeah, well, thanks, Pat, for the great demo and the code walkthrough. Like super cool, demonstration of like how our technology can work with other, tech provider. In this case, the cloud storage. That powerful that B2 has developed, and yeah, excited to see more of the integration that you will build. So with that, I think I was asked to talk about what are some of the future roadmap about company, right? So this slide kind of showcased that. At our core, like we have a very strong research team that only focus on building, I'd say, the best like video language model, video foundation model in the market, right? And I think I go through this, but this model vectorized video, generates video embeddings, and these video embeddings enable a variety of downstream API tasks, right? So search and generate, I already talked about, text to video retrieval, video to text generation that enable downstream tasks like search, content categorization, generate summaries, generate chapters. Question answering is another one that we will try to improve, basically having conversation with the video. Those are will and soon to be available in our existing API. Within the next few months, we're actually also working on two exciting API endpoints. The first one is the embedding API. So you can essentially get the direct multimodal video embeddings in order to power like custom multimodals. So instead of doing it end to end, you can get this NumPy array, right, that represent the raw video. Why would you want to do this? Because we actually got a lot of requests from AI engineers, developers who want to get more flexibility of like how to interact with these embeddings. Maybe they want to use these embeddings for like another task, like maybe they want to plug in a rich document generation workflow. Maybe they want to like store it in a third-party database. Maybe they want to augment those embeddings with additional text embeddings from like a third-party large language model provider, right? But the whole idea is like want to open up the flexibility of the workflow for developer users, and therefore will allow us to do more partnership integration with other AI infra company in the market. The second one is the File2n API, and this one comes more from a lot of enterprise customers, right? So I think Backblaze here, like probably I think you guys know a lot about the demand from enterprise customer in terms of privacy, security,
Mhm.
deployment, all those things. For fine tuning, I think they want like the model results right now is already like really good, but for some customer they want to get even like better performance, better search results, more holistic text generation for their own data, right? So fine tuning is just basically a way to for them to provide their own data to us, and then we fine tune our model on their data, and therefore the model will become better at their data. So far, like our process for doing this has been ad hoc. So like we got like ad hoc requests from customers, and we just kind of work with them on a like contract basis. But as we get more and more of these requests, we want to make it more scalable by opening up an API where they can upload their own data into our platform, and then we're gonna process them in queue and return the model weights via API that allows them to like run it on their own data. This is super exciting, right? Because that will help us become more attractive to those enterprise customer, and allow us to like go faster and go deeper into some of these verticals.
Yeah, very cool. I'm really looking forward to it. I think the embedding API in particular will allow me to take those embeddings and store them next to the videos, and then I can delete the index, create a new one, put the embeddings back. I could index a video once and include it in multiple indexes. It gives me a lot of flexibility there. Very cool. All right, so before we go to Q&A, just very quick, just some key points to remember. If you only remember 3 things, these are the bullet points. So 12 labs. This is the easiest way I find of understanding it. It's all the building blocks for my app to understand video content. Really cool. Backblaze B2, astonishingly easy, low-cost S3 compatible storage. We all know that. And the technical nugget from this webinar is understanding those pre-signed URLs. These are widely used in this kind of application. So even when I'm rendering those thumbnails to the screen, they're being pulled from that private bucket, and the web app is creating those pre-signed URLs and caching them, so it's not having to create them over and over again, and so the browser can cache them and so on. So with that, we've got some resources, and these are available in the attachments, but the 12 Labs IO and backblaze.com B2, and the source code for that app is available. I'm going to be extending it a little bit over the next day or two, but the code that you saw is there right now. So with that, we'll go to Q&A, and we have lots of questions. So let me scan down here. So let's see. How do 12 Labs and Backblaze handle data security and user privacy? Well, I can answer for Backblaze in that you choose when you create a bucket. It can be private or public. You choose based on your use case. And obviously, if you have private data, you put it in a private bucket, and that cannot be listed or read without credentials that you create specifically for accessing that data. And you can slice those credentials down. So you could, for instance, create an application key that only allowed access to, say, those thumbnails within that bucket, and not allow access to any of the other kinds of data there based on the path. And also you can time limit them and so on. So how about on the 12 Lab side?
Yeah, I mean,
what happens to my video data? It doesn't get commingled with other or built into some mega model or anything like that, does it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, video data, I think like customer video, right? Like we very respect them highly, and we basically have policy to delete like unused indexes within the next, I think, 30 days. We only like get video embeddings from video data. We store those embeddings, but like we delete the raw video data. And the thing about it is like, you cannot reverse engineer embeddings back to the original video, right? So that like probably satisfy the security part and privacy, right? Overall, as a whole company, we put a lot more effort on security engineering. We actually onboard like a new lead security engineer earlier this year, and he's been getting us, to like achieve like SOC 2 compliance and different like PII initiatives for the whole organization. And so we take security extremely seriously. And as we go into like enterprise conversation, I think this is just like a must-have, a necessity. So we want to be proactive and be a pioneer video company. And the security is a no-brainer for us to get there. Yeah.
Cool. So interesting. So that question was from Amrit. Interesting question from Rob. Are you building most significant content tags for searching, or is it doing full text searching?
From Rob.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the questions.
Yeah. Are you building most significant content tags for searching, or is it doing full text searching? Yeah. Again, I think the premise of this question is actually. So I assume Rob intention is like, are we doing like metadata keyword search, right? That's why he asking like most significant content tags. So one thing I want to emphasize, like we actually do not do tag search or metadata search. We are doing embedding search, and I want to emphasize that embeddings are numerical representation of the video. And so when you're doing the search, we search on that embedding space, right? And those embedding space already capture the, I could say like significant content, in the video itself.
Right.
Yep.
It's pretty brain bending stuff how this works. Easy question from Raoul. When will this presentation be available for viewing again? I think it takes BrightTalk maybe an hour or so to make it available, and it'll be at the same URL that you're watching it right now. So Nandit asks, could you talk a little bit about the cost of processing and making a 30-minute asset searchable?
Yeah, so we have a pricing page on our website. You can take a look. I cannot think about like a specific number right now in terms of like the pricing. But yeah, I think we can put on the pricing page on the chart if folks want to take a look at the
I can do that. So yeah, there's a free plan for you to get started, and then there's costs. I think that it says for visual it's 0.0, so it's about 3 cents per minute. Conversation is just under a cent per minute, but all the costs are there, and I can put them in the. Let me see here. It's the announcement. What is it? I can't remember how you do this. I think I do it as an announcement, and
you can just reply back to.
There we go. 12labs.io/pricing. Okay, so got time for one or two more questions. Okay, so we did the pricing one. Here's an interesting one. Are there tools or processes for offline backup to LTO tape? Rather than moving older video assets to cold storage, we'd like to move to LTO for cost benefits. Would those assets still be searchable at some level with 12 Labs? Okay, I think I can give a bit of an answer there. So you would need to index them before you move them to tape. And then after that point in time, you can do what you like with them, and you can still search that index and get back the results. And that may include, some metadata that you've put there yourself to locate the tape. I mean, obviously, if you have the videos in, say, Backblaze B2, you can go straight to the time code in the video and view it. But absolutely. Once you've made that index, you don't need access to those videos to be able to search them and get the transcript. And in fact, one technique is to transcode the videos to a lower resolution proxy, store those in Cloud Object Storage because they're much smaller and much cheaper, and that's all you need to kind of review it on the screen, so that you can still have this kind of searchable interface and view the video before you go and pull the tape to get the full resolution version. So great question, Adam. Feel free to email me, pat@backblaze.com, if you want to investigate that some more. Okay, good question that I'm pretty sure you can answer, James, from Michael. Is there a duration limit to any of the videos being indexed? And I believe there is. It depends on the engine.
Yeah, that's correct. I think I can put on the quick start page of docs for Michael. But if you use the Marengo model, which enables search classify, the video limit can be anywhere between 4 seconds and 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, if you use the Pixels model that enable the generate API, it's anywhere between 4 seconds and 20 minutes. The reason is like, for generative model, it obviously take a lot more like infrastructure and compute to make that happen. But good news is like in the future release, we want to push that maximum duration for Pegasus to be like 2 hours as well. So yeah, hopefully, we can get that at some point soon.
Excellent. Okay, and another one from Michael: is Backblaze storing the vectors for the search as well as the resulting JSON? Not right now. So right at the end there, James mentioned the embeddings API. So right now, those embeddings, those vectors are within 12 Labs. But when that embeddings API becomes available, I'll be able to copy those into Backblaze and store them alongside the video. Now, the embeddings need to be where the search is. So I guess down the line, you could do your own search with those embeddings. But if you want to use 12 Labs for search, you have to kind of have them in there, as well as wherever you want to archive them to. So wow, I see a big question from Rob that I am copying now, and I will find your email address from the participants and get back to you by email, because we are now out of time. We actually ran over a little bit. We had some great questions, and this is a fascinating topic. And James, I want to congratulate you on the fact that I think we got through this entire webinar and neither of us said AI. Oh,
did I say it?
I just said it now. So thank you, James, for your sharing your knowledge and experience, and thank you everybody for your attention, and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.